It was a crisp winter evening in New York City, the kind where the streets were alive with holiday cheer. Taylor Swift, bundled in a stylish plaid coat and scarf, strolled down a less crowded street near Greenwich Village. She was enjoying the rare solitude away from her usual spotlight, the twinkling lights above reflecting her quiet smile. Little did she know, this walk would lead her to an unexpected discovery. As she passed by a quaint bookstore, a simple handwritten sign in the window caught her attention. Author Spotlight, an ode to the everyday. Something about the title intrigued her. She stepped inside, the warm scent of books and coffee immediately enveloping her. The small shop was cozy, lined with shelves bursting with novels, poetry, and old records. At the counter stood a middle-aged woman, her kind face lighting up as she recognized Taylor. "Welcome. Looking for something special tonight?" Taylor smiled. "Actually, I was drawn in by that sign. What's the story behind it?" The woman, her name tag read Linda, gestured toward a display featuring a modest book with a plain cover. "That's a collection of poems written by someone who's been leaving their work anonymously all over the city. Each piece is signed only as the observer. People are talking about it everywhere. There's a mystery behind who they might be." Curiosity sparked in Taylor's eyes. She picked up the book and flipped through its pages. The poems were heartfelt, speaking of love, loss, and the beauty of fleeting moments. They reminded her of the lyrics she wrote during her own quiet, reflective moments. She decided to buy the book. Later that evening, back in her apartment, Taylor sat by her window overlooking the city's skyline. She read the poems, each word drawing her deeper into the mind of the mysterious author. One poem in particular caught her attention. "To the Songbird. I've watched you soar beyond the skies, your voice a beacon where hope lies. Yet here I sit, too shy to speak, a silent admirer, humble and meek. Your songs have carried me through my fears, unseen, I've shed countless tears. But should you glance my way someday, know my heart sang with you all the way." Taylor's heart skipped a beat. Could this poem be about her? The thought was both touching and intriguing. She decided to investigate further. The next day, she returned to the bookstore. Linda welcomed her with a knowing smile. "Finished it already?" Taylor nodded. "Do you have any idea who this observer might be?" Linda shook her head. "No one knows. But I've heard they leave their poems in random places. Cafes, libraries, even park benches. People stumble upon them like hidden treasures." Inspired, Taylor spent the next week retracing the possible paths of this mysterious poet. She visited cafes, parks, and libraries, often finding herself pausing to appreciate the city's hidden corners. In a small cafe in Soho, she finally stumbled upon something. A folded piece of paper tucked beneath her cup saucer. It was another poem, handwritten in elegant script. "To the Dreamer. Your dreams inspire a world unknown, a place where seeds of hope are sown. You may not see, but here I stand, rooted deeply, yet reaching hand." Taylor's heart swelled. She couldn't ignore the connection. This wasn't just a random poet. This felt personal. Determined to uncover the identity of the observer, Taylor shared the poems with a close circle of friends. Among them was Jack, a songwriter who often collaborated with her. He studied the handwriting and offered an idea. Why not leave them a note? If they're truly paying attention, they might respond. Encouraged by the suggestion, Taylor wrote a heartfelt letter. "To the observer, Your words have touched me in ways I can't describe. They're a reminder of why I create, to connect. If you're open to it, I'd love to meet you. Leave your reply where you know I'll find it. She left the note on the same cafe table where she had found the last poem. Days passed with no response, and Taylor began to wonder if the poet had seen it. Then, on a snowy Saturday afternoon, she returned to the cafe and found a reply waiting for her. To the songbird, I've watched you from afar for years, but feared the light you carry might blind me. Yet now I see it doesn't burn, it warms. Meet me where your voice first touched the sky. Taylor's mind raced. She realized the poet was referring to her first performance in New York at a small music venue in the West Village. That evening, she arrived at the venue, now closed but still brimming with memories. As snow fell softly, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a man, likely in his early 30s, with a journal in his hand and an expression of awe. I never thought you'd actually want to meet me, he said, his voice trembling. Taylor smiled warmly. Your words brought us here. I had to. They talked for hours, exchanging stories about their creative journeys. The man, whose name was Ethan, explained how her music had inspired him to write during some of his darkest days. I never sought recognition, he admitted. I just wanted to give back what your songs gave me. In that moment, Taylor realized the profound impact art could have on strangers, connecting souls in the most unexpected ways. She left that night not only with a new friend, but with a renewed sense of purpose. Months later, a new collaboration took the world by storm, a poetry and music collection called Echoes of the City by Taylor Swift and Ethan, the Observer. Together, they reminded the world that inspiration can come from the most unlikely places, and that sometimes the most beautiful connections are the ones we never see coming. As the collection soared to critical acclaim, Taylor often reflected on that fateful winter evening. She realized that creativity, at its core, was a dialogue, a way to share dreams and fears with the world. And in Ethan, she had found not just a collaborator, but a kindred spirit who understood the power of words. Their story was proof that magic often begins in the quietest moments, waiting for someone to notice.